how is everyone? I am Cinnamon Cooney, your art Sherpa. If you're here for the live event, welcome. And if you're here on the replay, it is so great to have you. Today, we're going to teach you how to paint Little Red Riding Hood going into the woods. I am really thrilled to be showing you this painting. I did this on my vacation, and there was a lot of craziness happening in my life. And I was just really feeling all the stuff going on around me and how I had to keep going for the people that I loved. And out of that came this fabulous painting, because that's who Red is for me. She's somebody who is willing to risk all to take care of somebody she loves. And so I really admire her. I hope we can pull that energy in that we all have today. We're going to relax today. We're going to be mellow today. We're going to be chill today. It's going to be nice. And we're going to put that whole week down. I'm going to put her over here. In the description below, there's a link to the full painting. And I totally recommend that you either pull that up on a device or print that out so you have that as a reference. There's also a list of materials. And the materials today are super simple. I want to show those to you just real fast. Oh, there they are right here. Mars Black, titanium white, optionally cadmium yellow, you don't need to have it, naphthol crimson, or really any red, and I'm going to show you why a fluid black paint is incredibly helpful. And then I also have an assortment of very good brights, or number 10 brights, and I want you to know that they all have in common that their bristles are quite stiff and not soft, and they don't come out of the ferrules at all. That's very important. Your brushes should not shed. I have here a filbert, has a slightly smaller bristle, and then I have these micro brushes, the kind of brushes you think of for painting miniatures. On the mic today, and as my co-captain is my husband John. Say hi, John.
Hi, guys.
He reads your comments, follows me around, and makes sure that you can see what I'm doing, and also so I know what you guys are asking. We take questions during live shows, but I want you to know we're going to have an after show a little bit after this program. It's scheduled. Mm-hmm. And any questions that got missed, the top 10 that we didn't catch, we answer in that show, and then just I card it into the lesson. I'm going to take a deep breath myself. I'm going to sip.
You can sip, and you can say hello. We have over 100, 200.
Well, 200 people. I just want them to know
240.
that there's a traceable as well in the description.
Yeah.
Because drawing is not the entry to art. If you want to draw this in, that's fantastic. But if you just want to trace that on, that traceable's down there. Feel free to print that out and trace it on. Hi, 200 people that are here.
Now, so 250 people.
250 you guys are coming. Come get your friends. Like, comment, share.
They're bringing all their friends.
Subscribe.
And so, just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's joined us today. Really appreciate it. I see all of our moderators in the room. I see Moda. I see Froggy. I think Lisa's behind me, and I see Kim's, and so I know that we got a lot of moderators here in the room. And I'm pretty there's the host, the ghost hostess. So they're all here.
Hostess. Just so you know, on the replay we do live, when we do these live events, we have several really amazing moderators from our community that make sure that our chats stay like the friendliest ever.
Yeah,
it's pretty fantastic. So all the chatting stays family friendly and kind of fun.
Yep. So. Wait, what do you have for us today? Do you have some?
Well, so I have a 16 by 20 pre-gessoed economy canvas. I get these packs at Michael's. We all know sometimes they're questionable.
Yeah.
But they're cheap, and in art supplies, it's your pocketbook versus your art experience. You always got to keep those in balance. And so I do these canvases. I have pre-sketched in. I don't know if you can see this on the up-close camera.
Yeah, we got it adjusted so we can see that pretty good.
Okay, red onto my canvas.
Yeah.
Right. I've done this with watercolor pencil. You could do this with chalk. My mom had a really good tip the other day that if you're going to do it in pencil,
yeah,
to seal it with varnish so it doesn't bleed into your paint.
Oh, that is clever.
Now, this is a painting anyone can do. Again, because you can trace her in.
Yeah.
But she's also not that hard to draw. On her placement, if you were going to be tracing her on, now is when you do it before we start the painting, so that the tooth, hear that?
Yeah.
The tooth of the canvas will pull our pencil off. So when I placed her 3 inches from the bottom, or 3 fingers. Not 3 inches, is it? My fingers are not an inch wide.
Before you get too deep into sketching her,
it's 2 here.
Well, before you get too deep into sketching her, can you tell me what those wishes you got in there?
I can.
I see some wishes.
I have, I hope that as many people want to see this painting as they can see it. And I wanted to put a gratitude in for the streamies. So I said thank you to everyone for the support of the streamies. And then I had healing for France and peace around the world.
Mm-hmm.
To Dee, I just wish her strength through her current struggles. You know, her wolf right now is health.
Yeah.
And she's having to face that. Power restored to Little Rock, Arkansas. There's several people out of power in Little Rock right now, so we wish power for them. Kathy, your sister wished healing for you, so we're sending you healing energy. And my gratitude is I'm grateful for the community that I have here on YouTube. Like, super grateful. You guys keep it nice. You keep art what it's supposed to be about, and I love that, and I'm so grateful for you. And so those are my wishes.
Those are good wishes.
Those are good wishes. If you see a wish that speaks to you, if you have a wish that you have intention or gratitude, you can always put that into your canvas. It's wonderful to begin a creative process, you know, kind of touchstoning into what is meaningful or important to us. So red, if you're going to trace her in now, right, at this time. Again, 3 fingers up is where I placed her, and she starts at about a hand over. And I left, well, I can give you exact measurements. She's about 3 inches to 4 inches over, I guess. If you were to do her center line, she's right there about 5. And she is 4.5 from the top.
Mm-hmm.
So how you're tracing her in, she should be right in this area. With just, you know, give her some ground to stand on. And I kind of drew my little mountain ground in, which comes up from the right over here. Oh, gosh, almost 6 inches, but really 5.5. And then it just sort of meanders down like a little bumpy slide and goes underneath her feet. And take a deep breath. And while you guys are deciding to heal or not to heal, whether she's wearing her high heels on her fabulous adventure or not, I'm going to show you guys how to do both bare feet and heels because I know that was a heated subject.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, it was. I'm going to put out my Mars black. But look, I mean, this is just black and white. You could have whatever black you have.
Yeah.
With Mars black, you definitely want to be aware that it's a very powerful, high-quality pigment. It is not translucent, so it definitely tints the paint. I have my crimson here. And you can use any red that you have. I picked a crimson because it's actually closer to blood. And I felt that that was important for the story. You know, when you're talking about Little Red Riding Hood, you're talking about a particular red. It's some skinny girl margarita red, for sure. I don't know if Bethany meant to do that, but she did. Whew, what the summer. And for some people, winter.
Winter. Yes, all of you in the other
side of the planet.
Other side of the planet.
I'm going to take a number 10 bright here.
Yeah.
And it's got a nice flick. It would be too stiff for makeup. This is a Simply Simmons extra firm filament brush. These are not actually carried. I haven't seen them in Michaels. They're actually online. The ones in Michaels are for multimedia and are softer. I'm going to get it wet.
I'm going to wish Colleen a happy birthday.
Who are wishing happy birthday?
Colleen.
Hi, Colleen.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'm going to squeeze that right in there.
Yeah. Always, always. Wish you a happy birthday, Colleen. So on red, we've got this kind of blowing sky, and we want to say that the wind is coming this way. This is a bone-chilling wind, and I wanted to show that it was a bone-chilling wind. So I really, really let my paint be streaky. See how I've got this load on my brush?
I do.
I'm going to add maybe a little more white to it. I'm going to come from this upper left corner, and I'm just going to pull down and just brush this blustery sky. Now, if you're not tracing her in, you could have drawn her beforehand, but you can also just freehand her on top of this sky. Depends on where you're at in your art journey. We're not all in the same place in our art journey, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We can all still travel together, support each other's creative process.
Walk along.
I feel like I'm putting these wonderful wishes into the universe when I paint over them. I'm going to kind of just brush over her a little bit, but not erase her completely because I'm going to use her later. See how I'm doing that? I'm brushing the sky into her, but just not totally painting her out.
No,
So she's there as a reference for me later.
Now, those beginning brush strokes there, just sort of in the middle of it, that's very interesting. Yeah, because like normally I would have been like trying to make it so that there's one continuous brush stroke, perfectly even and smooth.
No, this is a hard wind.
Interesting.
Do you remember when we were in Reverend Talley's class and he would talk about implied line and implied texture?
Yep.
This is what he was talking about.
Okay, so this is
an implied line or implied texture. These brush strokes are a little rougher. They're a little more rustic, right? And in being these kind of shorter, blustery strokes, channel your inner Winnie the Pooh if you've got to. He's a bear. He belongs in the woods. I would say just make sure that the flow of this diagonal brush stroke is in line.
Yeah, the brush stroke really conveys a lot of emotion in this one.
Yeah, it really does. And it's a fun one. And you can be a little rough with your canvas here.
Yeah.
You know, if your canvas is pitting on you, you can add a little flow aid to the water because it could be a water softening issue.
Okay, so
A tension issue in your water.
now I just saw that on when you were painting there. Next time you have a little pitting happening,
That's right here.
I'm going to zoom in on that because I noticed that you just sort of smooth it out there. What did you zoom
Well, I
in?
have a very stiff brush, and what my very stiff brush does,
Okay, we can see.
right? There's some pitting happening. My stiff brush allows my bristles to push this paint into the canvas in a much more authoritative way.
Oh, so you just put a little more paint on there and then just
The brush just pushes it in.
Gotcha.
But not everybody has bristles that are that firm. And there's a lot of solutions for this. You can add a blending medium, like my Grumbacher medium that I like. You can sometimes even add a gel medium. There's a lot of things that you can do to change the viscosity of the paint and the way it sticks to the canvas. You can change the surface prep on your canvas. None of these things are really hard. We have tons of videos on them. It's just deciding what's happening in your area, because what it isn't is that you just can't paint. Everybody can paint.
Yeah.
Everybody can paint if you're given the instructions. But sometimes our brushes or our paint or our canvases or even our water can give us some trouble on our art journey. That's all that's happening. It's not you. It's just never you. It's funny because people are like, and everything else in life, you know, it's always you. But in art, the list of things that you look at before you look at yourself sometimes is very long. Because tools make a big deal. Having working tools is a big deal. They don't have to be expensive, though. A good tool doesn't have to be expensive. This is my number 10 Bright by Simply Simmons, and because it's extra firm because of how they make this one, it's $3 and it's still a great tool, and I love it. As much as I love some of my $20 tools. Knowing what you're asking your tool to do, that's the key to getting a good tool no matter your budget. I imagine I could go into a dollar store and find good tools there because I know what I'm looking for. So I'm just making sure I have enough reference information for Miss Goldilocks so when I paint her in,
Yeah.
I know how tall she was and where she was. It's harder to trace or transfer images over a painted surface because the acrylic polymer takes away some of the tooth.
Interesting. You mean it makes it smoother?
Yeah, it does. There we go. So we're keeping this gray fairly soft. You'll notice one of the things is like I'm not scooping from the center of my two paint plops and I don't swirl them together like this.
Why not?
Well, if I did, I would just get a lot of the wrong gray.
Well,
We'll just have a lot of it, but by coming from the outside and grabbing a little bit of paint, I get a lot of control over the colors and results that I'm getting.
oh, interesting.
I could show you what it does, because I'll see people do this. They'll be like, I'll just put some to the side here. They'll have a little bit of white, and they'll have a little bit of black, right? And
Yeah.
they very, very reasonably think that what I'm doing is this.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I would do
Right?
myself.
And then they're going to try to hit the whole canvas with this. And look, it's too dark. It's not streaky enough.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to be like, I don't understand what happened on my canvas. I can fix this. If you have this, by the way, I'm going to show you how to fix this.
That just sort of makes a uniform color.
It makes a uniform thing. In fact, I once, mistakenly said, don't make Home Depot colors, which I want to officially say was not about the quality of color mixing at Home Depot, because color mixing at Home Depot was on point. I was actually complimenting you. I meant the uniformity and consistency of color that you would expect in house paint. The quality. So what if I did that? What if I had kind of too uniform a space?
You had painted your wall.
I'm trying to make this even more uniform, like what might happen. See, that's not the same as that. Can you see that on the up close?
You really can.
Okay.
It's
too dark. It's not. Darn it, cap. Darn cap. They're doing a cap redesign, and I'm so grateful over at Golden. All right,
So-
I'm going to let that dry,
okay.
and I'm going to show you the correct way again. We come over here from the outside of the black. I know this. You're like, it's a black and white background. How hard could it be? But sometimes this little bit of information, one of the clues that I have it going right is the streakiness I can already see in my palette.
Yeah. And
And then I come here, and you can already see the difference between this spot and this spot.
yeah, you're letting a lot of that mix on the canvas. And
I
the
let
brush.
it mix on the canvas,
That's so much cooler.
not on my palette.
I don't want to say it's better. It's different, and I like it for this application.
Yes, for this, there isn't a right or wrong in art. You can't be like, oh, that's wrong. Does it do the job? Really, that's all we're ever asking ourselves in art. Does it do the job? What is the job? What's the intention? And does it accomplish its goal?
Oh, yeah, we are Sherpa.
We are Sherpa! You don't know where the cameras are today.
I'm on different buttons in different places.
I can tell.
I am all over
Did
the
they
place.
get switched up when we moved?
They did. Well, it's yes. Everything is backwards today.
Everything is backwards today. Try to
But
rescue
I'm
some of this paint I put out. I'm
getting
so
there.
thrifty. I'm being so thrifty. So this gray is not that dark, right? It's not as dark as
Yeah.
this, but it's not as light as white. And anywhere you feel like you had a hole or it didn't cover the canvas as well, you can always go back. This is starting to dry now, so I can fix this. If you want to go back to here, and I'll show
Yep.
everybody how I fix it. You can fix acrylic paint once it's dry. When it's not dry, it just makes more mud. But it's much tougher to fix a paint mistake wet into wet, which is what a lot of people try to do. And they get so frustrated and they think it's them. It's not them. They're fine. Everything is perfect.
Now, wet into wet is good sometimes.
That is, but it's a hard way to fix a mistake.
Right.
Everything has a purpose. It's like using the wrong screwdriver. Nothing wrong with the tool. Just took it to the wrong place. All right? See
Yeah.
how that's all fixed now?
It's all emotional.
Yeah, it's all emotional. Let's go get another big tube of white. Just putting this in. If it feels too dark anywhere, remember you can come back and just lighten it up. Slightly streaky, like less black into your streak. Honestly, the more layers you put on this sky in this method, the prettier, more expressive, and robust. See, I'm taking that lighter color up into it.
Yeah.
Barely any black, because I'm trying to lighten it up. Right?
Now-
This is some Wuthering Heights kind of background going on here, isn't it?
This is crazy.
Who's looking for Heathcliff?
Heathcliff?
Yeah, dude. See, this is how we know you were not big into English lit. Or he just wasn't reading the Romantics.
No.
Look at my brush, got in paint.
got some yellow
Has that
on there.
happened to anyone?
So we're listening to Karen today.
Yeah. Isn't it nice today?
Yeah.
Just got to put our burdens down. Look, right? That's what our paint time is about. It's about putting down our troubles,
Yep.
letting them go, breathing a little more slowly. I love somebody was saying that she went down into her basement and then came back up a different woman.
So, let's see here.
I thought that was beautiful.
We had a question here that was kind of good here.
Happy to answer it.
Can you integrate light and dark for contrast and shadow if you like the dark woods?
I couldn't hear that at all.
So, can you integrate light and dark for contrast and shadows?
Yes. I don't.
If you wanted to make a darker wood.
Yeah, can you keep doing a grayscale?
Yeah, I think on the background there, if you wanted to make it darker for a dark woods is what she's
Yes,
asking.
you absolutely could.
So if
You absolutely could. In my painting, she's entering the woods. So in this story, in this narrative, when I designed her, all right, so I'm going to just explain some things. So, we have the wind blowing, and if you notice her cape's blowing, but it's already torn. So she's already struggled just to get to this point. The full moon is out, so she knows that there's wolves. And this is, how the forest starts out like kind of open?
Yeah, it's kind of like
and
don't
inviting.
worry, it's no
So this is the
problem.
beginning of it. But she knows where she's going, and it's even pulling her in. And the reason she's being pulled in is here off canvas, where she knows the danger is, where she knows it's about to get really hard, right? Somebody she cares about is in those woods and needs her care package.
Gotcha.
I was just thinking about that a lot, that we are, some of us are heroes because literally we like jump out of planes and save the world, but some of us are heroes because we go to work and we take care of those in our lives that are sick maybe.
Yeah.
Or we take care of ourselves when we're sick. I'll tell you, a hero to me is somebody who fights for health when they're tired.
Oh, yeah.
But they know the people that love them need them there. That to me is a hero. The second job, the going back to school, and sometimes those things, that's the wolf, right? The illness, the finances.
Yeah.
These are the things that are real wolves. Sometimes we have people in our lives that are wolves. It's hard to say. What we know is that into the wild, which is obviously the unknown.
Yeah.
Dangers.
Would you?
Dangers.
I saw a couple questions. Would you add blue to this if you wanted to cool it off, or would that be okay?
You mean like a Payne's Gray? Yes, you could add either ultramarine or phthalo blue. Ultramarine will give you slight purple cast, which obviously I like giving my hair. And phthalo will give you a very cool kind of almost paint. So
Interesting.
Angela Anderson loves doing that.
So
She's live later today.
yeah, now we're gonna do some more questions afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Now I see a lot of really good questions coming up here, like canvas panels versus stretch canvas and things like that. And we're gonna
It's
grab
not really
all
a versus.
those. well, which is better and when, and some of those questions we're gonna capture and add to the Q&A.
Come in the Q&A and
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I think between canvas panels. We have some here.
Yeah,
And we have some stretch canvases. And we can actually talk about what the real comparisons are. All right, I'm going to come along here and I'm going to put in this ground line. This sort of, again, we're back in the moors, right? This
Yeah.
sort of ground line. And I'm going to come along and I can still see the line I sketched in. But basically I'm making uneven ground. What she's stepping up into now does not have even terrain.
You could just give her a little path, make it a little easier for her.
No, it's not easy. That's not life. That's not where I was coming from when I painted it. I wasn't feeling like it was easy. I was feeling like it was hard.
Yeah, you're putting it in the canvas.
And I'm just going to paint all of this black. But something that I'm going to do,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping there's a way for me to convey it, I have a little dusting of white, a small amount on my brush. And this is something you'll see artists, the alla prima artists sometimes take advantage of. Bob used to take advantage of, is a little tonality on your brush. In other words, a little something like a little dusting of white into your black. Creating highlights implies like a structure to the ground without you really having to work for it. Just an interesting thing
We have some little brushes
that
painting.
I might do as a painter. What little brushes?
Oh, we have little brush Raven and Bella.
Raven and Bella.
Yeah.
Hi, Raven and Bella. Are you painting this today? I hope you're painting this today. Come along here in this dark space.
So someone was just asking, what is alla prima?
What
Which
is what?
Very alla prima, which is a very good
That
question.
is a really lovely way to talk about the movement of oil painters painting wet paint onto wet paint. Instead of waiting for it to dry for months in glazes and then glazing another glaze over it, they would just work very expressively, often with like palette knives or thick impasto brushstrokes,
Uh-huh.
applying wet oil paint over wet oil paint. And working those two properties together to create new blends and new expressions. And it's just become part of our art language now.
Yeah.
And we can use it to refer any time that we are. See, I'm just letting the brushstrokes become. You can
really
kind of see
nice.
it with the landscape having a little tonality. It makes a difference. It makes it feel like a finished painting.
Wow, we are almost to a double Sherpa,
No.
where we have 300 people in here and 300 likes. We have 228.
A double Sherpa?
Yeah, we have
are Sherpa?
We are almost there. I mean, it's incredible. I was just looking over. We have 228 thumbs
This
up
is
on
going to
this.
be
Thank
great.
you, guys.
I can't wait to see all these paintings.
Thank you so much for all the support and love and showing up and hanging out. We've had over 300 people in the room here pretty consistently. It's been really nice. Thank you, guys.
I have picked up some white and gray here. And I'm just going to make sure that this little rock has a few little brush strokes that are, you see those? They're just really light. It might be hard for you to see, but in the main painting you see them. It's necessary. And then just a couple up here, and that just gives me a little bit of more landscape, which I want.
Yeah.
Where it just says it's rough. I'll put this brush in water, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the moon.
Talk to us about the moon.
Hmm?
Talk to us about the moon,
I
Sherpa.
love to talk to you about the moon. I love to paint the moon.
Wax
John
philosophical.
knows this. You might, if you've been painting with me for a minute, you know I like to paint it.
We named our kid
Huh?
Lunabella. We named our kid Lunabella.
We did. Our kid's Luna Bell. All right. Now, here's an optional thing you can do. I made a very, very almost, it's not white, it's a light gray, and I can add a titch, a scotch of yellow to it to give it a cast. It's not necessary, and it takes very little to get the mix you want. Make sure that it's grayed out. This is, you can just do white and and black, but I like a little yellow into it. Now I'm going to come over here. This is almost center, and I'm going to come down about a finger's worth, and I'm going to paint my grayish yellow circle. Now, if you're not a circle person, does that mean you can't paint?
I
No.
can't do circles.
Just means you're not a circle person.
I'm
Go get a cup,
definitely
trace
not
around it.
You can do that? Is that
You
okay?
can
It's not
do that.
cheating?
What?
It's not cheating?
Oh my goodness. The only thing that's cheating in art is to say you painted something you didn't paint. Right? Like if you did a forgery and tried to take it to Sotheby's and said, this is my, I'm Michelangelo. That would be cheating in art. And they'll put you in jail and you'll know you did that. Everything else is just a technique.
That makes sense.
And even then, the one guy who got really good at forging all that work, he ended up becoming a very famous artist. So we're a weird community. We're kind of like, you did it so good, we almost respect you again. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Oh, and there used to be this artist, what was it, Kasabi?
Yeah.
And I used to get so upset at him because he had other people paint his stuff and then he'd sign it and say it was his and he had it in a factory. And he was still charging like $76,000 a painting. It was really upsetting to me for a period of time in my life.
Yeah.
Ugh. So can you see that slightly yellow-gray circle?
Yes, I can. It looks like a yellowish
Gray circle.
gray circle.
It does.
Is that what it's supposed to look like?
It's what it's supposed to look like. I worked very hard at that. I'm going to let that get a little dry and tacky. It already is, actually, because it's so warm in my studio. And I'm going to get a little white, just a small amount. I don't mind that it's a little tinted by the gray. Maybe just a scotch. Do you see how little, can you even see how little yellow that is?
I want to say thank you so much. Everybody out here is so happy and excited about the painting. You know, they got 284 thumbs
I
up
want
going
to
on.
see, like,
And there
so
are
many reds. Let's just break the internet with little red, where we, like, you know, this is your painting. This is your love letter to yourself for all the bravery that you do. I'm going to take this. Look how light this is. You see how I'm kissing this? Can you see that on the robot cam?
Yeah, what is that?
So I have done on a very dry brush a little bit of white that's toned back with a small amount of gray and just tipped a teeny tiny bit of yellow. And I'm making these radiating circles coming down.
Oh, yeah.
Towards her.
Now, I've seen you do that before.
Yeah. It's a thing I like to do.
This sort of implies...
Yeah, it does. This is the, illustration background where I get a little heavy-handed in my narrative. But I love it. Makes me happy. I'm going to get some just white on this brush. And I'm going to come here. And I'm going to... Can you see these short little brush strokes? They're very light. It's sort of fun to do this. Just imagine it's a butterfly wing that's painting this.
Kim is so ready for this painting. She has her hair redded up and it's just like...
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Lisa helped me do my hair.
Well, yeah, there's been a lot of hair doing...
There's been. It's
Your hair
been
looks,
pretty cool.
Your hair looks very nice.
It's such a treat to have somebody else help you do your hair because I'm always like, I don't wear a hat because I have to, but maybe I should. So when I have that kind of unevenness to the moon, I come back and I make a dark gray. Can you see how dark that is?
Now you're actually mixing it in. You're blending that down.
Blending that down a little bit, and it's on my brush. You can see the load. And I'm going to come with this just contrasting little gray to, add some texture to my moon. My moon needs a little texture. It's a weird touch, but gosh, it makes a difference. It really, really, really does. See that?
It does.
I'm hoping this is a good companion piece to Hope's Swing.
I really like it.
I'm enjoying it too. Now, detail brushes. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Let's talk about those detail brushes. I'm going to hold them down here.
All right.
So detail brushes generally come in sizes like 2/0, 5/0, 10/0. The higher the number, the smaller the brush. We use them in miniature paintings. These are the short handles for the Simply Simmons. Simply Simmons has done this weird deal where they have a fairly short-handled brush, but they call this long handle, and then they have a teeny tiny handle brush, and they call this short handle. And it changes the sizes. So a number 6 on this is this size, and here's like a number 4 filbert. These are both filberts. So this is a number 6 filbert, and this is a number 4 filbert.
Hey, Cinnamon.
See the differences?
Oh, yeah. We are double Sherpa all across the internet. We have over 300 likes and 300 people in the room at the same time.
Crazy.
Isn't that incredible? Thank you, guys.
I'm going to see some paintings.
They have been out there, the whole community is jumping up and down and just really excited. I think we owe them a Sherpa dance.
We owe them what?
We owe them a Sherpa dance. Give me a Sherpa dance. That's the double Sherpa dance. Okay, now you can go back to your teaching.
No, I'm not starting a dancing tutorial, no.
No. But if we do double Sherpa, I'll make the Sherpa dance.
But anytime we do double Sherpa, you make the Sherpa dance?
You make the Sherpa dance.
Okay, well, back to this. So I'm just trying to help you guys understand the differences. Now, when they get down into the 0 sizes, they no longer come in a firm filament, but you don't really need them to. They come in a multimedia filament usually, or a watercolor one, right? These are in the firm filaments. Number 4 long handle, number 6 short handle.
Okay.
So when I was first talking about these brushes, long handles poke you in the eye. So every time you think you know a thing about a brush, they throw you a new curve. Hopefully that illustrates the difference. I'm going to take this number 4. You could use a number 4 filbert. You could use a number 4 bright. And I'm going to start talking about how we put in trees.
Okay.
So you're going to notice that I'm pulling out my heavy body paint. And I'm kind of mixing it. And I'm adding a little water. Not enough to underbind. It takes a lot of water, like 30% to underbind paint if it's a good paint.
Now you're really blending this down. So you're trying. This is where you do want to make a uniform color.
Yeah, I'm trying to do these trees that are going to be in the background, right?
So this is where you really.
And I'm going to put a little white in this mix because I don't want them to be black, but I want them to be darker than my sky.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just pulling that in. And when I have a fairly fluid, right? And what I mean is it's not heavy bodied anymore. It's almost like a craft paint consistency. I'm going to load it up on my brush. I'm going to come here. and I'm going to come up. I may have to add water to my brush several times, or I might have to add a blending medium or something to improve the fluidity of my paint, because if my paint isn't fluid, I'll show you a comparison. If you
Okay.
can zoom in here.
Yes. Hold on just a second.
I'll make a gray, but that isn't fluid. This is just a heavy body gray, not a lot of moisture on the brush.
Ooh. Let me,
You're gonna
hold on,
see-
hold on, wait. Let me get back out. I zoomed in too much.
Okay.
So let me get back
You're
down
going
there.
to see what goes wrong, I think. The first thing that's going to go wrong for you in making a tree is that your brush is too dry. And as you come up, it starts to do the pitting,
yeah,
and
I
it
see it.
stops painting the background.
Yep.
See, and it disappears on you. The other thing that might happen to you, and I wonder if I have a brush. What if your brush was too soft? What if you had a heavy body paint, and this is a brush you might have right regularly here. But it doesn't necessarily, I'm lightening my pressure. I'm doing everything I've always been told to get a line. And am I getting one?
Not really. It's just kind of making that streaky.
Okay. It's because this brush is too soft and this paint is too heavy bodied.
Gotcha.
To get this brush to work, right? It
Hi,
can work.
Lindsay.
It can do a great job, but look how much water I'm adding. I'm not
yeah, a lot.
underbinding it, but I'm making it much more fluid. I've got this soft detail brush. Now if I come here, and this is life-changing for a lot of people when I don't have to have it dark enough. I'll make it darker so you guys can see it. You know, now when I'm coming up, I'm getting this beautiful light line. Look how nice that line is.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's a nice line, isn't it?
Now,
So that's the first kind of couple of things, and I'll start fixing this brush. So I can do this with a nice brush with a nice edge, or I can do this tree with a detail round. But what I have to have is the right fluidity of paint. In other words, how liquidy is it to the softness of the brush. So I'm just pushing that up there. It's a nice background tree. Either one of these brushes will work on branches.
oh, yeah?
Other thing I want to say about branches, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I'll do it here. All right. Yeah. So if I'm making a branch, as it grows out, it grows out, it grows out, it gets thinner, 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 thinner. And maybe his little friend comes out, and he has to be thinner than the branch he's attached to. He has to be thinner than the branch he's attached to. And then this guy would have to be thinner than the branch he's attached to.
You just painted an upside down tree.
I did. I did paint it upside down. But here's the deal. So how do I get that, right? That's like what a lot of people want to know is how do I get that?
So I'm going to say.
I'm going to make sure my fluidity is really good on these gray trees. What are you going to say, Mr.
I'm going to say
Cooney?
thank you to our huge community out here who's just given us 333 likes. Lindsay's joined us.
Hi,
who
Lindsay.
is totally awesome. And we have over 340 people in the room with us.
Lindsay is the frugal crafter. If you don't know, you should know. Click her name and go subscribe.
Where are you going?
You should
You-
totally do that. 'Cause
you're
she's
going all over the
pretty
place.
awesome sauce. And I'm just defining this little tree back here.
It's looking good.
It's looking good. But what is that about? That is that I have enough fluidity to my paint. I didn't underbind it,
Yeah.
but I have enough. I could use airbrush medium. I could use a gel. I could use a blending medium. All kinds of ways to get it thinned out. I'm just using the one that comes out of my tap. And now I'm going to take this little brush and I'm going to come up here.
Gotcha.
Right? These gray trees really help define my forest. Now another thing that I can do is I'm looking at this little branch. It looks barren, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it could have a little friend that grew off here, little sibling. And then this one looks a little barren, so I can give it a little friend. And they get lighter and softer as they go out. And they can lay over each other. Trees sometimes they're rude about space. Maybe I'm going to put a little branch off here. Take some of your branches. Your branches should not all be down here. They should be going up to the top and towards the top. Better to have them long than short. So see how some of them are touching the top and some of them are at the moon height? You want to pull your tree branches up because these are trees. And we're going to give her a couple of these real fast. I'm happy to answer any tree questions we have because I know those are That is sometimes for people the hardest thing. See how I come up and how I'm doing that? What I'm doing is when I press in hard, but then I lighten my pressure till it becomes a kiss. I'm using the sharpness of the edge of my brush to create this line. And then I'll veer out and I'll go, what is that? And then I go, nope, you need a little V here.
No.
See how those are?
Yeah.
Maybe he's got a little friend that pops out and goes like that. Be imaginative.
Now, let's see here. Tammy was asking, let me come back over here so I can see what you're doing. Tammy was asking, would it ruin the paint to dry the background and use a micro marker for the trees and branches?
Ruin the paint or the painting? No, I think then it becomes like a mixed media project. And I think a lot of people on YouTube have proven you can pretty much layer anything that will stick to each other. If you're going to use those markers, I would just research them, like figure out how archival they are, how light fast they are. Sometimes with markers, they have a slightly green cast or a weird sheen that will show up like in a disjointed way in the painting, and you have to use a varnish to unify that. But everything's plausible as long as you understand what it'll do. There are paint markers, like by Crink or Einlock, that are not going to fade out. And then there are, permanent markers that might. And then you just ask yourself, like, what is this for? How long does it need to last? And remember that there's resources here about these products. So if you have a marker and you're like, would this be good for painting? I dare you to find a product without a YouTube video about it. And then,
And if you do, make a video.
Make a video, or tell us, and we'll make a video. Or tell Lindsay, she'll make a video.
Yes, please.
Somebody will make a video if you find a product that doesn't have a video about it, because that needs to be done.
It's like all over. We're like.
So I'm layering these cool trees.
Yes.
Right? You can even, look at this, I'm going to pull up some little grasses back here.
Oh, yeah.
In this gray. And again, it's similar to the trees. I come up and I wander, and it's just about pressure. Think the Queen song in your head.
Now, we're right at that spot in the painting where it can be difficult because it's the middle.
Well, for this, yes.
For the camera, because we're either right there in that spot where.
In the middle of the painting.
Where you lean to the right or the left, and then I can see it just a touch easier.
Okay, right here.
He's so wonderful.
We got to work that out. Yeah, always tell me, because we want people to be able to see both angles.
Yep.
I'm gonna have a little branch veer off here from the bottom, and I'm gonna say it's okay for you to go off canvas here because you live in the woods. That's what I'm gonna tell it. Maybe another little friend in the distance going this way. See how there's building up? We're building up the woods. Maybe another little twiggly friend goes up this way. You can practice your trees and you will get better. This is just a practice thing. It is not an art talent thing.
We've had a couple more little brushes join us.
Hi, little brushes. Who do we have today?
We have little brush Toby.
Hi, Toby.
Anya. And Raven and
Hi.
Bella. And we may have some other little brushes that are out there that I'm unaware of.
That we don't know we have.
Don't know we have with us.
And I'm going to pull my little gray grass up.
But
I'm on the edge of my brush. I'm sure John is capturing this. And I'm just letting it flick. And it's just fun. And it leaves me a nice little grassy line. And I like that little grassy line. So I've got that, right? Now, here's another thing.
I'm going to look at that on this close-up there real quick.
Fluid.
Nope, I'm going to look at your head. Apparently.
Fluid paints.
Fluid paints.
Now, these come from Artist Loft has a fluid. I'm not always thrilled with the Artist Loft brand, but I actually haven't had a problem with the fluids yet. Liquitex has a soft body. Golden has these fluids. And what they are is they're exactly... shake it out. I use it so much.
Shake it out.
No, I think I clogged it.
Uh-oh.
I'll try this one.
I'm going to look at the grass. See the grass,
They
guys?
are the same wonderful product. See how that kind of pours out more?
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't really hold body. I'm going to switch to this fabulous number 6 short handle filbert, which is like, you can just see. I mean, it's like a teeny tiny little detail, isn't it?
Yeah, could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Those long-handled paintbrushes, could you just tip those back right there? Oh, perfect. Thanks. It was poking up in my camera.
And they're not even long handled, but they say long handled, so, brushes.
brushes.
So now what you're going to immediately notice is that this paint is much more the consistency you were trying to say mix another paint, right? And it loads onto your brush, almost like pulls into it like you might expect watercolor. And just for fun, just for playfulness, go ahead and play with that and go, oh wow, that makes some nice little refined grasses to layer out here that red could be dealing with, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say maybe I'm going to make some of these little areas tell a little story of plants and things that have grown.
If you stepped to your right, I can see there over your left shoulder. Oh, perfect.
All right, I'm just going to say maybe she's got some little grasses coming here, and any detail brush will work here. And you'll notice like sometimes I like actually grow somebody that's like they're not even attached, but it feels attached. Back to implied line.
Oh yeah.
I could do little thing there saying, oh, that's so lovely. Anywhere you want to put between where she's walking, it's okay. You know, this is your landscape. And now that I'm feeling kind of good about this, maybe I'm going to come and plant like my major focal tree that's going to come up here. And suddenly I'm going to find it's easy to take this branch all the way to the top.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because the paint just flows off my brush. If you're not getting a fine line, something has happened in your brush and density of paint. The brush is not the right brush. Your paint isn't fluid enough. Your pressure that you're pushing down with is too hard. It's just going to be one of those things. Like whenever I have somebody here and we're looking at what's going on with their brushes and their trees, I always want to look at those things. How hard are they pressing? I'm pressing very light.
Could you step to your right just and for me?
This way?
The other side.
Here?
Yep. So then I can get in there with a close-up camera and see a little better.
So I'm just kind of coming up and I'm taking this tree and I'm making him more of a focus.
Oh, good.
You know, you could make these trees super creepy if you want your woods to be creepy. You know, I'm saying that they're not carrying leaves and that it's clearly so winter makes it pretty creepy right now. A neat little branch coming off here can be good. These might be so inviting in the summer, but right now aren't feeling inviting. See that little branch that came out?
Yeah.
Just going like that. And if you make a mistake, just let the paint dry, go back and put your sky in and put your tree back in.
Oh, gotcha.
Just not even a worry. It's just art. I'm just going to wind this out, maybe go in front of the moon a little bit. He's got a little friend that comes off here. And I want to pull one here because I want this to be a very like twiggly tree, maybe a little broken one. How are we feeling about our trees? See how long I take my branches?
Yeah.
And then he needs another little guy coming off there, doesn't he?
I think so.
Yeah. Every tree will tell you what branches he needs. Are you listening? Are you listening to your trees? Probably your canvas is talking to you. That may sound crazy, but it's true.
I like it.
Your canvas probably is talking to you. And you just have to ask yourself, am I listening? Am I listening to what my canvas has to say? You know, and maybe a little define this one in front of the moon a little more. That helps layer these objects. Whenever you layer objects.
Now, I just saw you do an interesting thing there. You had a little blob on the tip that got thick, and then you just made the branch thicker all the way back down to the next thickest part.
Yeah. Thank you for catching that. I did. It got thick, and what did that mean? What I know I have to do, I have to thicken this branch to the next thickest part. That was a very good catch, John.
So, interesting. Okay, so that's how you fix those.
That's how I fixed those. And I hadn't even, like, kind of noticed or vocalized how I fixed those, and you caught that. I love having you there.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure that I work.
Well, no, because sometimes you do things as an artist, you've been doing it so long, you don't even know you're doing it. That was like a struggle that you had a while ago. You resolved, and it's become so like breathing for just everything else that you do. You don't even see that it's an interesting creative decision that you're making.
Yeah, if you could step to your right, just again, other way.
This way or the other way?
The other way. Oh, perfect. See, and then if you go that way, I can open the close-up on it.
And I think the close-up is important. I think the thing is, take those trees up,
Yeah.
right? And, crookedy them up. They're not orderly. These trees are not orderly. They grow in the woods. They're wild trees. I'm doing a thing here. I'm pulling the paint off my brush because it feels gummy.
Oh, okay.
And I'm reloading it. And I'm getting away with these beautiful lines because this is a stiff detail brush with a sharp edge.
Ah.
And this is a very soft bodied paint. Buy it or mix it, but that is what you need, is soft body when you're trying to get these fluid lines. And I'm very I'll let branches cross branches. I'm not Tetrising the trees. Right? They work or they don't work, and they can cross each other and they can invade each other. We're almost done.
Wow, really?
Just got to do red, and as soon as the trees are done, this is just one of those pieces that comes together.
Wow.
Just flows together. I'd say we have about 20 minutes.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know. It depends on how crazy I go on red. Actually, she's very simple. Super, super simple. I like all the different ways people talk about this fairy tale. I looked at a bunch of really amazing illustrationists. I think one of the fun things is the retelling of red as either the villain in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
or as just being as dangerous as the woods.
Yeah.
Kind of steampunky and a little more involved than what we might do here, but super fun to look at. If you haven't Googled what's going on out in the world,
Mm-hmm.
it can be really fun to look to see what other artists are doing
Now,
and how they're handling it.
That is a very interesting question.
Putting these little lines up. Yes.
So someone asked, can they make their trees look like they're blowing in the wind?
Sure.
And then that made me ask, why didn't you make yours have like they're
These are stiff, hard trees.
they're stiff, hard trees. So they're not being affected by the wind. They're
Not being affected by the wind. The wind is blowing through them. Their leaves are all off.
They've been stripped of all of
They're
their.
rigid trees.
Mm.
It would have given the piece a very different feel.
Well, everyone would definitely like to see the a wolf painting as well.
I'm thinking we're coming up on a wolf painting.
I think we're coming up on one. Yeah.
Yeah, we get into the fall. We've got a bunch of trout and wolf and deer. Elk.
And
Barns.
you did the galaxy wolf.
Yeah, we did the galaxy wolf. That was super fun.
That was really cool. I really like that one a lot.
Yeah, it's actually really fun to do. Not hard. Super fun painting to do. Good for really any age or level.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one. I'm going to take this branch off here so that it grows away. And I'm going to make sure that has a believable thickness. Isn't that nice? Now I'm going to start painting in red. I'm going to take my black paint and I'm going to come over to my red crimson paint and I'm going to mix my black into it, which is something I don't usually do. It's not part of my, traditional color theory.
Oh yeah, why is that?
Just because there is a gazillion infinite color theories out there, palettes, ways that people work, tonalities, modalities. And in mine, I just have this set of 8 colors that I work with. It's a lot of times artists have like a palette and they do that.
Yeah.
And so I do that. It's not about it's the right way. It's just the way I do it. You will eventually develop a way you do it. And that's cool. And that's always that's what makes it fun to visit other artists and stuff. Now I'm going to switch to this number 10 filbert. You could use a number 6 bright if you were doing the Simply Simmons, or a number 4 bright. And I'm going to paint her cloak in with this deep, dark, brickish. I almost like to say it's almost like a clotted color.
Interesting.
I'm going to paint it in with this dark color.
Now, is this just your red underpainting?
Yep. This is what's going to make the red of her cloak really pop. It's a very important part of what we do.
Yeah.
when we're telling the story. I'm going to kind of blow this past her leg here. And then once I get it past the leg, then I'm going to start coming and putting that up into the wind. See how I did that? That arabesque line there?
Yeah.
We're going to enjoy that. And this cloak is tattered.
So what is in your sippy sippy demon today?
Water.
Water.
Healthy water.
Healthy water.
I'm hydrating. It's good for me. Maybe today's cloak will touch the leaves and I'll pull out another little tear here and there. Just whatever's gotten her here hasn't been easy, but now she's facing the real stuff. Now, and this one, you know, I went a little bit like she's, you know, giving him life. She's doing it. Like you're hearing fashion, stuff like that. She's wearing her heels. She's not letting anyone take her fabulosity. However, many of you were like, I don't want to walk in the woods in heels. So what I want to say to you is don't. This is your painting. You don't have to hold it sacred because I felt the heel thing and wanted to give her heels. You can just give her bare feet or boots or whatever would walk in the woods. This is your story, and you should tell a true story about that.
So this is your emotional journey.
This is your emotional journey.
And if you would make that emotional journey in high heels, then you go.
Yeah.
But if you need flats, that's okay too.
That's so good.
Yeah.
You know, you're showing up for people that you care about. You can wear whatever shoes make that journey work.
I'm a hiking boots kind of guy.
You so are. We could talk about the wild all day in the hiking boots issue.
Yeah, or boots.
Her boots. Don't ever throw a pair of boots away when you're in the woods.
Much less one boot when you have one good boot. Okay, sorry. Just a little minor soapbox. But
Minor soapbox that we have ongoing. Now I'm going to put some little, if you'll see this, I press in and curve out.
Okay, I can't see. Hold on, let me go over there close up. So, there. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just pressing in a couple of these darker reds. I'll finish with all the high reds, but I just want to put those in, this nice darker red. Now listen, if you're painting a student grade paint, you might need a couple coats to get the exact desired effect. Don't worry about that. That's okay. Paint dries, you can add to it. See, but that's what I've got going on.
Wow.
In her little cloak. Maybe I'll tell a little story there. See how I just feather these little things off?
Yeah.
So now I'm going to get my little detail filbert that I've been in trees around with. Get my fluid black.
No, you have
and
to
paint in.
I just can't see right behind you there. You're just to the... There you go. Perfect.
Oh, goodness. This is going to be...
I can see right there. Perfect.
All right. Just... This heel is lifted a little bit because she shifts her weight forward.
She's
determining
walking.
Where her walk is. If you were doing this barefoot, you would take the heel away.
Oh, yeah.
You just wouldn't paint that in. Just paint it right there. I mean, paint it out and paint it back in for you.
And then that
But
way,
I really like her with heels, so I'm not even... You could put a little red stripe on these heels. Maybe she's wearing fierce heels.
Maybe.
Maybe. We don't know. Right? She's got good calves. She's walked before. She ended up fitter. There we come. Walking into the woods. Walking into the woods.
And just ever so... Yeah.
She feels like she's really going, doesn't she?
She does.
She does. You know, you can adjust these. You can... I'll show you how I could take my black and my white, like I did my background, if I wanted bare feet. And there you go. That's what that would look like. Maybe I would define that more. Let's see, barefoot.
Barefoot.
Not even a problem.
Yeah.
You just fix anything that you weren't loving is fixable once it's dry.
If you lean your head just to the right.
I do want her to have a heel, so I'm going to put it back in.
If you could lean just over there to your right, just a touch. Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's so hard on my back, babe.
Oh, I'm sorry. We just you're in that.
I'm in. That's why we gotta set these so I can be
No, you're just
in my space, and you can be good too. We gotta work that. We gotta figure that out. That's the origami math.
It is.
We'll figure it out. Oh, that's okay though. I'm okay. And just put a little of this down here. So we've got our legs where we like it, and then an easiest thing in the world, I'm gonna get just like a number 4 braid, or I'm sure I have one in my bucket. Oh, there, I'll just grab this one. So I've got this little number 2, I don't know where my number 4 is, and I'm going to get just my red paint. And I'm going to come here, I'll try to stand out of your way so you can see it. I'm going to come to just the back of this hood, and I'm going to just apply this little highlight.
Oh, that's really nice.
Of red. Not the whole thing, just some of it. And then come over her shoulder. And come down here. Super easy. Now you can see why the crimson. So the cat on this would be fine, but it'd be a little, it would be a little warm.
So a lot of people think it'd be fun to make the heels red.
Huh?
A lot of people think it would be fun to paint the heels red.
Go ahead.
You could totally do that.
You can totally do that. Now make sure that that's, I'm going to give her an appropriate. Suddenly she's gotten a little brin on me. She's very tall, this girl today. She's very tall.
That's
For
okay.
those of you who don't know that Bryn is a character from Game of Thrones.
Awesome character from Game of Thrones.
Awesome character from Game of Thrones. So I'm going to add maybe a little highlight to the little leaves I had coming out, and then add a couple more in the bright red. Just going off into the woods. You can have bits of her little cape on the ground here if you want.
Yeah.
Just, I don't want to paint out everything that's underneath. And I want it to feel very dynamic. So the brush strokes are short and expressive. And thick. And that's what's nice about the heavy body paint on this. Is it helps convey that torn, epic.
Yeah.
You know, things we're walking. There's red. We did it.
Awesome.
I hope you love this painting. I hope you love the painting that you do. Come back and meet us for the scheduled Q&A, and any questions we didn't get to, we will answer. And then those will be in the iCard later for you guys on replay, because we want you guys on replay to get your questions answered too. Thank you all for the voting lately, and I'm going to see you guys at the Easel really soon, probably in a few minutes. Bye-bye.
Hold on, I gotta get my buttons pushed. We love you guys. We'll see you really soon. Bye-bye. And push, and bye-bye.
Come join us live Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 11 a.m. Central, or enjoy one of the hundreds of paintings available on replay anytime.